You can be anything you want to be. You can do anything you want to be. You can always be good to other people.
You know, I know it's not easy. You know, life is tough for everybody at certain times of life, and sometimes there's a lot of people who starts early, you know, and they have challenges.
I can do whatever I feel like doing if I really put my mind to it.
Having to face your fear, and then some of the most powerful experiences in my life have come from the lows.
You fall off that horse, you get up, you brush yourself off, and you get back on. You're given lemons, you make lemonade out of it. You know what? This is not going to break you. There's nothing that can't be done. Nothing's impossible. We're going to rise above and make things better.
Most of the time, we don't realize how our stories are similar to the stories of our neighbors and how connected we truly are.
We struggle to find the time to listen, to genuinely hear each other.
In order to create connections, we must first listen and engage in meaningful conversations.
By recognizing each person's individuality, we can begin to develop a sense of community.
By investing in and accepting each other for our true identities, we build trust, respect, and empathy.
We must understand that each person is shaped by the power of his or her experiences.
Our character is developed by our ability to overcome hardship, to learn, to change, to grow in the face of adversity.
Our identity, although essentially ours, is shaped by our interactions with the world around us.
Our community is a reflection of ourselves, and every person, every story, has the right to be heard.
We are proud of our community and the opportunity to share these stories.
Outside. I don't like playing the dinosaur game that they play.
You don't like that game?
No. Clean my room, vacuum the house. Playing with dinosaurs is not my favorite toy.
Oh, so when you don't play with your favorite toys, that's your worst part of your day?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I can't really decide. Wait for my mom to be done with her yoga.
Mainly math, because it takes some time to catch on to certain things and certain topics pretty often.
And I had torticollis when I was a kid, so like my head was like this when I was like 3, up until I was like 3, so I had to like get something like taken out of my neck. It was like a nerve or something that tilted my neck forward.
Doing my homework after school.
Waking up, you know, your typical thing.
Math class.
And why is that?
Because I'm not good at it. Anything that I find hard would be lunch in general.
Why?
I'll be just walking and everyone staring at you because they have something different to say and usually behind your back.
If for those of you who don't know, I have dwarfism, so that has been a very hard challenge. Being told that I can't do something because of my size, or saying, oh, it's too dangerous. Like, yeah, no, it's not. That one has been a big challenge. Internal thoughts, mental illnesses have been a huge challenge of mine for as long as I can remember.
Okay, so I'll start now and look back. I had a heart transplant 2 years ago. Prior to that, I had an internal heart pump. Prior to that, I was diagnosed with heart failure while I was the principal of the middle school in Norwich. I had to leave my job. Prior to that, I was an assistant principal in elementary school. I was a guidance counselor. I was a PE teacher. I worked in a halfway house with kids with juvenile delinquents, and I did drug and alcohol counseling.
About 6 years ago, a lot of people know this, I got divorced from Melissa's dad, which was an extremely difficult time in more ways than one. Financially, mentally, emotionally, it took a lot out of me.
I guess the most blatant and obvious in my life is the fact that my mother died when I was young. She was diagnosed with breast cancer when I was 5, in which she fought for 6 years, and she passed when I was 11.
Well, I think every day you walk in the classroom is a challenge. You may have 20 or 25 people in the classroom, but not everyone wants to be there. So that okay. Or not everyone wants to hear what you have to say. And so I think you have to establish some kind of credibility as an instructor. And once you do that, again, you should, like I said before, you take care of the troops, they fall into line. And you build I think you build a reputation and people deal with it. And that's good.
So when my older son, who's 24 right now, when he was 2, we knew something was wrong with him, and eventually through a million doctor's appointments, he was having brain seizures. It's a very rare disorder. It's called Landau-Kleffner syndrome, but only 500 kids in the United States have it. And because it's so rare, they put it on an autism spectrum disorder.
I would say the biggest that I had to overcome happened September of 1992, September 14th, 1992. I lost my father in an airplane accident down at Goodspeed.
Well, I could look in 2 different areas, my personal life and my professional life. I think my personal life is more poignant. Things that I've had to kind of deal with in my personal life are more poignant. I have a son who has a fairly serious degenerative disease called psoriatic arthritis, and it attacks his joints. It's an autoimmune disease and it attacks his joints. It's as if the immune system thinks it's under attack when it's not.
The lowest point of my life would be, I don't think I really had a low point. I think I've had a lot of ups and downs through my life. I think I've learned a lot from all my downs and learned a lot from all my ups and kind of put them all together. And have learned and experienced and become a better person, I believe, through all of it.
If you're not resilient, you're not going to make it, because I don't care, who you are. There's going to be a lot of adversity in your life, whether it's health issues or personal relationship issues, whatever it is, financial issues, you're going to have it. And when those times happen, you're just going to have to dig down and figure it out.
You got to have determination for what you want to do and what you believe in, and then you got to work through it and stick to it, and hopefully get support from other people around.
I think we're, interesting, I think they're connected. I think where I came from gave me a certain level of inner resolve, thinking that I could overcome stuff. But I think it also gave me a certain level of intensity. I think I was an angry kid. I could get angry easy. I was that kid who hated to lose. It came out in competitive stuff. I hated to lose because everything was about, then it defeated me. I took everything personally. So I ended up doing better in sports that were more individual than a team, because if my team was losing, I would get in a fight with my team. So I think that kind of intensity certainly shaped me. And then as I got older and I had healthier relationships, I think I realized that I could be a different person.
I think I'm totally defined as a person by those struggles, because when you meet kids in their very young, very vulnerable stages, and they're so innocent in the things that they're saying and doing, it reminds you that all people, we all started there. We were all innocent little kids, and we're shaped by our experiences and our choices. And being able to guide little people has made me appreciate and respect big people too.
My friend groups, I have various friend groups that affect me differently. So I can kind of be someone a little different with another group than I am with another group, and it just brings out different aspects of my personality. So I can really emphasize one part of my personality with one friend group and then one with another. So it's good that I have such a difference in people that I know and I'm friends with, lucky to be friends with.
If you take pride to do the best job that you can, it pays off. And so now when I went back to college, I realized like, okay, I need to like take myself seriously, take advantage of the abilities that I have. I learned a lot more in school, which is obviously why you go there. My grades got better. Projects, other jobs that I did just went better and better because I did the best that I could.
What made it a little bit less was the community was just, it was unbelievable.
To get the motivation, just the I will try harder type mindset, you know. That's the determination, I guess, you know.
I told my mom and dad I'll go get a bandage.
Worked hard, did well, got into a really good medical school. And I mean, NYU Bellevue is one of the best in the country. I got lucky, got in. Got lucky and put my head down and said, failure's not an option. I know where I want to go. I know what I want to be. And there's only one way to do that, and that is to bust your tail.
I think it's changed me for the better and for the worse, because for the negative part of it, I feel like we had to fight for everything that Tyler has gotten, whether it was medical people, whether it was schools, and and that's exhausting. And but the good point I think is that when people do help, it's amazing. Like Special Olympics has just been like an amazing thing for him. I mean, because he's physically, he's like awesome. So, like he was in the national team for Special Olympics, and so it's good and bad. But because of that, I think I'm pretty much a pessimist. I expect the worst, and then if the worst doesn't happen, I'm like pleasantly surprised, you know. But being a pessimist is not a good thing. But on the positive side, I do think it's given me a ton of empathy for people.
My life is straight, so you have to be able to categorize that and say, you know, this is my life, I'm taking the steps, I'm doing what I need to do, and you know, these people are difficult, and that's not my problem, you know. Yeah, it can get really nasty and stuff, but you have to be able to work through that, you know. And I think sometimes you can't deny it. You can't deny I had a really hard day, because it was, but you have to be able to process that and work through it. And
having an attitude of being part of the good and being part of the positive is the most important thing you can do in your community. A lot of times it's easy to get focused on the negative or the angry, and that really doesn't serve the community or yourself well. But if you can see the positive, if you can be part of the positive, if you can help curtail the negative and move forward with the positive, that's really what being part of a community is all about.
Much to Sue's point, is that you kind of have to rely on yourself. You know what I mean? And she said it too. You know, coming from a small town especially, it gives you a sense of, it gives you a sense of worth, that's for sure.
It's really easy to fall into this place where you feel like you're alone in it, or that whatever problem you have is the biggest problem in the world, and that it sometimes can feel scary and overwhelming. And I think that reaching out into the community, reaching out to friends, loved ones, and really just putting a name to the fear that you have sometimes can go a long way.
No, there's a lot about this town that I like. The ruralness of the community, I like, and the people. I found the people in this town to be really outgoing and very generous, which is really important in the community.
Doesn't matter how old you are, how young you are. It doesn't matter which generation. Everything has to be taken in perspective. You have to have a purpose in your life. And when all else fails, lean on your family and your friends. And always be there for them. to me, that's what it's all about.
Throughout this compilation of stories, we have discovered that our adversities have evolved. As time passes, our challenges require more perseverance and empathy in order to overcome them. By overcoming these hardships, we develop and shape our character while solidifying communal bonds. East Haddam is filled with opportunities to foster relationships, and through this experience, we have built connections with our community.